Good evening. My name is Philip Yao, and I'm a proud member of the SEO San Francisco Advisory Board and a longtime supporter of SEO and its efforts. I first learned about SEO through one of my college roommates, Ramsey Smith, who today is the vice chairman of SEO National Board. Ramsey was an intern at SEO Careers when we were both undergrads at Princeton University. Well, fast forward, he and I and many others are now working together and are committed to the cause of SEO, which is to create a more equitable society. Tonight, it is with great pleasure I have the honor to introduce you to another roommate, Dr. Pierre Theodore. Pierre has spent his entire career working to further equity in the healthcare space and as a public servant and a commander in the U.S. Navy. As a heart surgeon and a physician, he has leveraged his surgical expertise to increase access for marginalized communities around the world. Pierre currently serves as Vice President of Global Public Health at Johnson & Johnson, where he leads a team to decrease disparities in healthcare, including increasing COVID vaccine availability during this pandemic. Over decades of his work, Pierre has consistently used his experience in leadership roles to further access, opportunity, and equity, ensuring that high-quality healthcare is available to all. That is why tonight, we are awarding Dr. Pierre Theodore the Adam R. Karr Community Leadership Award. We established this award to recognize the efforts of SEO career alumnus, San Francisco founder, and board chair Adam Karr and his impact on the next generation of leaders. Through Adam's own leadership and visionary spirit, he launched the San Francisco expansion more than 10 years ago. Today, we are now scaling and doubling that effort. That is the impact of community leadership. Pierre, my brother, it is my honor to present you with this award tonight. Congratulations.
Phil, thanks so much. I could not be more excited to join you today and to participate in this opportunity for us to first and foremost celebrate all the fellows and the hard work that they do day in, day out in an extraordinary time that we find ourselves with respect to the challenges of COVID-19 and the current pandemic. And to be able to receive an award named after Adam Karr is deeply meaningful to me. If there's one thing that we've realized over the course of the last year is that there are severe inequities in healthcare that we see frequently. And often we see those same kinds of inequalities in education as well. And we know very well that, in fact, talent can be distributed equally, but the opportunities are often very unequally distributed. And to be able to participate with an organization like SEO that is truly founded on the notion of providing opportunities to all is a deep honor for me. And for me to be here with you, Phil, makes it all the more important. So thank you very much for this opportunity and for all those that made this possible.
Well, Pierre, I got to tell you, you've come a long way since our days living at Princeton together, and this is the first time I've even heard you speak so eloquently. Wow, I'm impressed. I think our other roommates would also be impressed. At this point in your career, what are your reflections on the importance of education? Because that's what SEO is indeed about, and the role it has played in your life.
Phil, it's a great question. I think when we look over our careers and we ask ourselves, what is the bedrock, the foundation of all that we've tried to accomplish, whether it's in business, such as your extraordinary successes, or in healthcare, or as a writer, or any particular profession, I would say most of us would go back to our education as really being the bedrock on which we've built everything that we've been able to create during our lifetimes and all that we've been able to do for others. So when I look back, I say the opportunities that were afforded to us by our parents, by our family, by our mentors, those that really looked out for us and tried to make sure that we had access to the highest possible quality education, really in some ways gave us the boost and the push that allowed us to be successful in life.
That's true. And another part of this is actually the network that you build in college. Indeed, I became part of SEO because of Ramsey, and you're now the recipient of the Adam Karr Award. And you've spent your entire career fighting for equitable access to healthcare, including around the world, such as Haiti and sub-Saharan Africa. What drives this commitment to equity?
That's an interesting question, Phil. I think fundamentally, I believe in this concept of justice. I believe that, as you mentioned earlier, that the group that you're born into or the location where you happen to be born shouldn't define your ability to achieve success in this life. So in some ways, we use this term equity and disparities and we throw them around, but really what it's about is making sure that all of us have the opportunity to be successful in life. And that's exactly, in fact, what SEO does. It provides just those kind of opportunities for students who otherwise may have been disadvantaged in one way or another. And that is extraordinarily important. So for me, really equity is at this sort of foundation of justice.
You do all of our roommates and classmates at Princeton very proud, and I'm sure your family would also be very proud of your commitment to this cause. And at this point in our lives, we're in positions where we can actually use our influence to help a lot of people and improve their lives. How do you think about your responsibility now to give back and open doors for others?
You know, Phil, long ago I made the decision to go into healthcare, and I did that largely because I thought it would give me the opportunity to reach out and figuratively and literally touch the patients to try to make them better. And I've been afforded an opportunity through the business of healthcare to reach many, many more patients than I could ever touch individually. Mm-hmm. And that also brings with it the responsibility to think about the equitable distribution of healthcare, both in the United States and beyond. And I think if we look over the last couple of years, as we've all, every one of us and all of our families have struggled through this pandemic, we would say that you see some real gross inequalities in terms of mortality, that is the likelihood of dying from COVID-19, for example, or illness, or access to care, and thinking very carefully about how to offset some of those inequalities has become extraordinarily important to me. Yeah. And we see that both here in the United States, we see this, of course, around the world, and we see this sometimes in comparing one country to another. And Johnson & Johnson, fortunately, has given me this great opportunity to really dig in and try to address some of those injustices that lead to these disparities that you referred to earlier.
That's terrific. Pierre, congratulations on being the recipient of the Adam Karr Community Leadership Award. You are very deserving of this. We are all proud of you, and thank you for all that you do for the community.
Thank you, Phil.